welcome back to my channel. My name is Becca, and here in my little corner of the web, I like to share about my life and my budget and finances. And today I'm going over my June 2021 budget wrap up. If you notice, I am filming in a new location. We recently moved, and I've been giving little snippets of our house. This is my home office, and I cannot wait to share the full reveal with you, but I am not ready for that. So right now we're just sharing little bits. But I cannot wait to share everything that happened with our finances in June. It was a really great month for us. We had a lot of extra income, and I'll show you that. And you can see how we got closer to working on our financial goal, which is paying off my debt. So let's get into it. So as usual, I have blocked out our individual sources of income, and that's just for my husband Jared's privacy. But for some background, we both have 2 part-time jobs each that make up full-time jobs, as well as I have a event planning business that I just started, and this is actually the first month that I have any income from that, and it's just $100 because that's all I wanted to pay myself. I wanted to invest the rest back into my business, but that is one of these items. And then I work in nonprofit development, and my husband is a musician and also is a draftsman. So our miscellaneous line item, which is usually just random things that come up during the month. This month we had budgeted for $500, and that was just for rollover from April when we had a really high income month. And you can listen to more about that in my June 2021 budget with me. But we actually had a large source of miscellaneous income this month for a total of $3,616.70. Oh, I always mess up right away. And 74 cents. So Jared did some work and he got paid for it. A lot more than we had expected. So that added a lot to our total income for the month. We thought it was going to be a really lower income month, and it ended up being pretty high. So the total that we brought home was $9,842.07. And everything was pretty up to what we had thought. We just had this extra amount. So that was really great. And then our tithe this month was $970.90. And then our bills section of the budget, our mortgage, most of these are what they're going to be when I make this. But sometimes they change a little, which is why I don't call this section fixed income. Our mortgage is always $1,200. My phone bill is always $44. Wi-Fi is $69.81. Electricity was $49.93. I think I knew that when I made this budget. Water, sewer, trash was $84.33. So it's pretty close on that one. And natural gas was $26.52. I don't know why this keeps going down. If you watch my videos, you know that I have had very inconsistent natural gas bills, but I am not complaining about the low amounts. And then car insurance was $148.90, and Jared's health insurance was $160.37. So our total was $1783.86, which is good. A little bit under, but I am not really ever too worried about the bills category because nothing is ever out of left field in that category. And then on the other side is our expenses. And these, some of them we did really well in this month, and others we did not. So for a little background, we were traveling for the first week in June, the last week of May, first week of June, we went on a trip to North Carolina, and I actually did a little vlog about it. So I will link that up above and you can see what we were up to. But we had a lot of, we had regular grocery costs while we were there because we cooked, and then we had a lot of eating out. So I upped some of our categories specifically because of that trip. So with groceries, we were over budget. We spent $433.07. And initially I had planned to count all of the money that we spent on groceries on the trip as like a travel expense. But then I decided, we would have spent money on groceries anyway while we were gone, so we'll just count it as a grocery item, which is why we went over. But also I do need to just reevaluate how much to put in this category since we have been consistently about $20 to $30 over. And then eating out usually give us $180, and I upped the budget specifically for accounting for the trip. But then we actually came in below that at $185.33, which is still $5 over our normal amount, but much closer. And hopefully we can get back down to that disciplined lower amount, which is not like a super low amount. We like to eat out, and we're not going to punish ourselves for that. But gas, we spent $86.54. And that one can't really be helped. You know, it is what it is. Jared's allowance. So he spent $95.16, and I don't even know what this was for. And then I went way over in mine. I spent $228.25, and I got I had some rollover that I was using from actually something that I bought right at the end of May, but I was already like finishing our May numbers, so I put it in June, and then that came back to bite me. But I didn't want to spread it out over any longer, so I just said I overspent, and that sucks. But I am working on getting that down for July. I don't think it should be that high again. And then shoestring planks. So this is my business, and I had planned to spend $100. I was refilling like my kit of supplies for having on hand at the wedding that I was doing. But I actually got my business card, my business debit card. I had set up a bank account, and it finally came in June. And then I made my purchases through that card with the money that I'd gotten from the wedding deposit, so that I wasn't using our personal income, but I had some recurring bills that hit before I got the card. So I had $17.34, and that's like an email charge, and I was using an online calendar, which I since canceled because I was like, I don't actually need this. But I had those in our budget previously, but now they will be moved to, now that I actually have money in my account from Business Done, they will no longer be in our personal budget because I will be budgeting all of that separately. That way, come tax time, everything is easier to report. And then subscriptions, I was pretty close on that, $44.52, and that includes Apple Music, Apple Storage, Google Storage, New York Times subscription, and maybe one other thing, but I think that's probably it. And then house. So we have been buying things for a house. If you don't know, we recently moved, like I said earlier, and this is our first house, so we've been purchasing things for the house. And I gave ourselves a bigger budget in June, knowing that we had a housewarming party right at the beginning of July, and if we needed to get anything for that, I wanted to be able to get it. So we spent $546.94, which was over, but not too bad. Pretty close to what I planned, and I think we bought a fire pit and some chairs and a couple of other things, and they just add up so quickly. I feel like it's impossible to stay under budget with that for us. It's our hardest thing. And then miscellaneous, we spent $146.46, and I honestly could not tell you what that was. And then we had a line item that I didn't plan to spend in June, but it was for our housewarming party, like I said, was right at the beginning of July. So it's already happened as I'm filming this, but we spent some of the money. We had actually a gift of some money to use for that party. So I just had planned to spend it all in July, but then realized that I needed to, prepare earlier and get some things right at the end of June for the party. So I actually spent $91.74, and to counteract this, I counterbalanced it. I added our miscellaneous funds, like income, to of $91.74, if that makes any sense. So I had planned on spending in total $300 for the party, all in July, but we needed to spend some of it in June, and we ended up spending $91. So I just subtracted that from the July income section and moved it to the June income section so that they would cancel out. And when I do things like that, the funds always are actually just sitting in our checking account. We always have a checking account buffer of around $3,500, but I don't use that to figure out, how much money we have left in the month. I use my budget that I make and a spreadsheet that I update with my spending tracker to figure out where I am with my categories. So it didn't really matter if I spent it in June or July because we had actually received that gift money in May. So I had it anyway. But that's a long way to say that this didn't really affect our bottom line. So the total amount that we had in this category was $18.75. $35. So above what we had planned, but there have definitely been months where we've been like way more off. So this was pretty good, especially since about $100 of that was from party money. And then savings and sinking funds. I will actually start with our sinking funds. If you don't know, I make this little budget sheet, and in July, I rearrange it to put sinking funds before savings because I think that just makes more sense. But every month, I'm kind of like reworking it and trying to make it better. So in June, this is what it looked like, but I want to start writing sinking funds first. So I'll go back up and do that last. So home maintenance and renovation. We have been, as I said, renovating our new home and just doing little things and big things. And I had thought when I made this budget that the add amount would be static, and then we would subtract how much ever we spent and then end. But for some of the categories like home maintenance, we actually spent more than we had to start and we had added. So I didn't want to be like negative in the categories. So what I ended up doing is just changing the amount that we added to the sinking fund to kind of zero it out. So I'm going to have to do some white out here. And I don't really have a better way to do this because it's a paper budget, other than like adding another category, which is like a budgeted ad and then actual ad. But I don't really want to have that many lines because the paper would get so crowded. So this is kind of my best option right now. And I don't really mind the whiteout. So we ended up having to add $716.51. And then we spent $951.92. So we ended up with $0. And this was mostly lumber. It is so expensive, and we were buying wood to make shutters and to make a table for our backyard. We wanted it to be ready for the party, and it was so beautiful. Jared built it all for us. He has become this great handyman. He's gained a lot of skills, but it was pretty expensive, so we had to use more than we planned. But we justified this, and I know this is terrible, we probably should not have done it, by taking money kind of from our July planned home renovation category and moving it to June because we wanted things to be ready for our party because it was an unveiling of our house and we wanted everything to be ready for our friends and family. So we are keeping it really tight in July to make sure that we stick to what we said we would do. So that's a long story short of that. And then travel, and when I made this June budget, I hadn't, put in these start numbers because I didn't have them yet. So that's how much we started. We started travel with $89. We added $300. Because we were going on 2 trips, like the one I said before, and then at the end of the month we went on this little weekend retreat with our community group at church. So we ended up spending $310.99 on travel costs, mostly fun activities and some food costs. And so we ended the travel section with $79.26. Then gifts was another one where we had a snafu. I had thought that $50 would be enough, but we actually ended up spending a lot more. So I had to add to zero it out. So we had to add $151.21 because we spent $181.70. And this was we had Father's Day for both of our dads this month, and then a birthday, and we were doing a really big thank you gift / birthday gift for Jared's parents because they have been helping us do all of these renovations that we've been doing to our house. So we just wanted to go really big this year, which is why we had so much spending in that category. So we ended that category with $0.2. There was a lot of sinking fund spending this month, but it made me very glad that we have the sinking funds. With Christmas, that one was pretty standard. We started with $80, we added $20, we didn't use any, so now we have $100 in there, which we are going to beef up in the second half of the year. I just felt like in the first half we were so far away and working on another financial goal that I didn't want to split our focus, so I made it a smaller amount. And then health. We added $60, but we spent $298.31, and this is because it's all of my eye care costs. I went to the optometrist, and so I had, my little copay, and I think that was $39. And then I bought a new set of 6 months of contacts, which actually last me for a year because I don't wear them that often. I wear my glasses most of the time. And those were, I think, $114. And then I bought, because my prescription changed, I bought a pair of eyeglasses, which you've seen in this video. I love them. They're new and they're fun and fresh. And a pair of prescription sunglasses, which I'm so excited about. I've never had them before. And I got both of those for less than I've gotten prescription glasses, like one set in the past, because I bought them off of Zenni Optical. I'd never ordered online before, but it actually went really well and it was so much cheaper. So that worked out great for me, and I think I will continue to do that in the future. So we ended that fund with $498.13, and I'm so glad we have this fund because this is a reason why. Because with health costs, they usually like stack up at one time, and it's so much better to be prepared for that. And then with auto, we added 80 and we started with 610, and then we spent 191.87 because I got new tires, so that was that cost. So we ended, oh, and I did this wrong. I transposed this. So actually we ended auto with 498.13. We ended health with 436.69. Okay. So no one come at me for the math. So we actually had another thing that we used as like a sinking fund this month. It's not really a sinking fund, but I didn't want to put it as a spending item because we allocated some money towards a new phone for Jared this month. He needs a new one, but we did not spend the money. So I wanted to put it in the sinking fund category because we will be holding it in our account until next month. And I just thought that was more accurate as far as like what we spent versus what we saved. And then next month it'll be a true expense. So I'm just going to write Jared phone. And we decided to do it this month because next month is his birthday month and we'll buy it like as a birthday gift for him. But since we had so much extra income come in, this was a perfect month to do that without, blowing the rest of our budget. So we started with 0. We added 380 for him to get, that's how much it'll cost for him to get the new iPhone SE after he like sends in his old phone. And then we didn't use any, so we ended with 380 total. So now I have to change this number. We actually had to put in 1707.72. A lot of sevens there. And then we spent 1934.79. Big spending month. And we ended with 1494.08. So definitely glad that I have sinking funds. I think that they're very useful for having big expenses every once in a while. And then the last category of our budget is our savings line items. And our emergency fund, we started the month with $5,500, and this is not our main goal right now. Our main goal is finishing off paying my debt. So we just put $50 in there. We are just trying to do a little bit every month until we finish paying off the debt, and then that will become our next goal, is like finishing out our 6-month emergency fund. So we put $50 in, and we ended with $5,552.65 because I think we had $2 of interest in that account. So great, interest is working for us. And then investments, I'll do debt holding last since that is kind of the big thing. We started with $1484.21, and actually I should redo this. So I had initially included that, and that was just for, I think, my Roth IRA, but then I was including in the budget, if this makes sense, investments for single stocks and I just started a Roth IRA for Jared, so it didn't really make sense to have this as a start and not like our total investment amount, so I changed that, meaning more whiteout, but we started actually with $6,460.84, which is not, a whole lot, but in total, but we are still young and it will hopefully grow a lot more once we're done with the debt and we can really start focusing on that. But so actually that total section started with 19,549.09. And then we planned to add 120, but we actually added 200 just because sometimes I just panic and I think, oh, we're not investing enough fast enough. We need to make sure that we are giving ourselves enough time. So I just did that. So we ended the month with, and this is the actual balance from all our accounts for investments, $6,795.98, which is actually $195 just market gain. which is pretty great. I know that that doesn't actually matter until, we actualize it, but I still think it's exciting to see that kind of passive income come in. And then the last thing, our most exciting thing, debt holding. So we started, for backstory on this, I have federal student loans, which are currently in forbearance. So we set up a dedicated savings account, and we have been putting our payments there every month so that we can get the interest instead of the government. And then when I have the full amount and forbearance ends, I will just pay it off in full. So we started the month with $7,587, and we had planned to add only $672 because, like I said, we planned on a low income month. But due to all of the extra income, we're actually able to put $3,254.24. So that is really exciting and gave us a really, really big headway on that goal. So we ended the month with $10,844.12 in that account. So I have a total of $12,723 balance. So we are actually really, really close to paying that off now. And if we are disciplined, fingers crossed, we will pay it off in July, which was always kind of my expectation based on my projections at the beginning of the year, but I had not planned on spending so much money on house renovations over the last 3 or 4 months. So to be able to hit that, as well as having done all that we've done to make our house feel like a home, would be really amazing. So I am really hopeful that we can do that. Let me just finish out this. So we actually saved a total of $35,04.24, which puts our total savings at $23,190. $275, which is a really high number, and I love looking at that. And I'm gonna be so sad when half of that leaves because it was just from our debt holding, but our net worth will still be gaining. So that is our June budget. If you liked this video, make sure to drop me a comment and let me know down below. And I actually just started selling my budget templates on Etsy, so you can get any of the months that I make moving forward. I make these to match the plum paper sticker kits, and I just put monthly budget on there, so it's generic. So if you like the, design for that month, you can pick that up in my shop, and I will see you guys next week. So, bye.
I don't wanna stay here